Hello, welcome back to Mastering the Matrix. I'm Troy Colmer, and we are doing this podcast to give you all the tools, tricks and techniques and the secrets to becoming a master at manifesting. I've got my good mate here, Craig. He's been missing in action for a while now. I think I've done about 20 odd podcasts since he's been gone.
Hey, I've been living it up in Bali.
Oh, mate. Yeah, so he's just come back from Bali. He's just had his 60th birthday. He's 60 years young. He doesn't look a day over 70, but he can't help it.
Trying my best, mate. All I can do is try.
Yeah,
I feel young.
yeah, and you can't. So what you got to look at for like good mates to really pep you up,
Yeah.
make you feel good.
Next thing we'll be talking about dementia and nursing homes.
Oh, don't bring that up. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about a lot about the Matrix and why I've changed the name again. You know, because I'm like a young plant, a young seedling, trying to find his way through the dirt. But now we're finally just poked his little head up through into the sunlight, and now we're going to start growing. So it's taken 25 odd podcasts to get it together, but so luckily Craig's here now. He's going to sort me out and give me a slap around the face and get it all back again.
That's my job. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah,
But I do like it. Mastering the Matrix.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did you go in Bali, mate?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
How can you not like Bali?
yeah. So what's it like being 60?
Yeah. I feel...
That's 10 years off 70.
Yeah, stop reminding me. Jeez. Nah, it's just a number I keep telling
No, that's
myself.
right.
Yeah, I don't feel any different to what I did 40 years
Yeah.
ago. I probably feel better
Yeah,
because I think you're sort of trying to make the most of it now.
yeah,
So, and going, oh wow, I've got to get things happening
yeah.
and make the most
Well,
of
it's
every
just a
day.
number, isn't it? Like if you think about, like if you're going to at least 120, 130, like you're only halfway.
Yeah, middle age, mate.
You're only middle age.
I've only just got there.
That's the way I'll look at it.
Yeah. Well, the way I feel now, if I'm only halfway,
Yeah.
on
No,
track.
well, in all seriousness, you are looking pretty good.
Oh,
you know.
thanks, mate.
Yeah. you've
Trying
got-
my best.
Yeah. No, but you eat well, you exercise well, you keep your mind good. Like you're doing everything you can to make sure that you do have the longevity. And it's not just about longevity. I mean, we could get hit by a bus tomorrow, but it's about the quality, isn't it? The
Oh,
quality of life
absolutely.
leading up to the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, I spring out of bed every morning and do my meditations and my Tibetans, and then sets me up for a good day, even though most of the time I'm working. But yeah. And I even trying to make the most of a working day with working with apprentices and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying that. And
Yeah.
still doing the job that I was doing, well, in my 40s. So I still, and then I can get home and train and take the dog for a walk and still feel awesome. So, and do it all again the next day. See what the next day offers up.
And not far off the boat. The boat's coming.
The boat's coming, mate. Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm looking forward to that day.
Every day we get closer to that beautiful boat.
Yeah. The big lagoon what do you get in? A 40 or 38?
A Lagoon 40.
Yeah. That's
And I had a few friends when I was in Bali go down, and they were sending me photos of the lagoons that were down at the boat show there at Sydney. So everybody's pumped. I got a full crew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a matter of manifesting it into your life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're doing plenty of work on it, so
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
We'll be sailing around the world in no time, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to happen quick.
We'll be mastering the Matrix.
And talking about manifesting, did you manifest anything while you're in Bali?
Oh, mate, every time we checked into a new place, funny, we got upgraded.
Yeah.
So it was worked out perfect. Perfect weather, perfect food, perfect people. Probably manifested the perfect holiday.
Yeah.
So, because it was only about 8 months ago, we were in Mexico,
Yeah.
and we thought that was a pretty good trip, but this one in Bali pretty much topped it off.
Yeah.
Good waves, perfect.
Yeah.
So, manifested a nice one.
Yeah. And so with the upgrades, did you purposely manifest it in?
Yeah, well, I took heed of what you'd said about your South African trip and just expected it, but didn't really put all that much work into it other than just expecting each time we went to a new place that we'd get upgraded.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much the first thing they said to us after they'd welcomed us in. Oh, Mr. Craig, you've got an upgrade to Oceanfront Villa. Oh, geez, perfect, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. It's uncanny how many times this works. When I was working at the Newcastle Health Collective, there was a young lady there, Tennille. She was on the reception, and so I taught her all the manifesting tricks. And so she used to call it channeling T, like channeling Troy. Yeah, as a joke.
Yeah.
And because then she'd start practicing it when she was with family and doing the upgrades, and yeah, she was like blown away. She goes, I can't believe how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
Oh, mate, it's uncanny. Well, even just before we went away, I even got the old pendulum out and asked the pendulum, is this trip gonna come off perfect? And are the waves gonna be good? Is the weather gonna be good? Is everybody that's going? Because we had the whole family go over there, and a few friends from overseas, Canada and stuff, meet us there at all different times. So people were coming and going. So it was a bit of a lot of planning went into it to get it pull off. And mate, the pendulum said before I went away, yep, it was going to go all to plan. Everything was going to be perfect, and off she went.
Yeah. And if it hadn't, if the pendulum said no, well, then you would create the belief that it is going to be great, and then you'd recheck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because everything's just a program.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pendulum's funny, isn't it, how that works?
The pendulum blows you away,
Yeah. And you think, but everything that you do, because of our training, our programming from parenting and school and society, like it's so far outside the realm of belief that these things are real.
You show people the pendulum, and like when you first talk to them about the pendulum, they go, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And a lot of people will go, oh, that's like a Ouija board or whatever, which it probably is fairly similar to. But then when you show them, and then you say, just take it home and do a bit of experimenting with yourself, they're blown away. They're texting you by the time they get home. They're going, oh my God.
Yeah, and because when you watch somebody else doing it, you think, oh, they're just moving that with their hand.
Yeah.
But when you do it yourself and you ask a question, and it says no, or because I put maybe and wrong question on there as well, so it goes. So I put like if it's like on the plus axis, I'll straight up and down I have yes, and then left and right I say no.
Yeah.
And then sort of on the diagonal I have maybe, and then on the other diagonal I put wrong question. It's not all the time, but sometimes it just comes up and I'm expecting like a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Then it comes out. I'm going, what's it doing? It's going around. It's doing this. And it's doing. Then it starts going wrong question. I go, I'm asking the wrong question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's.
I haven't had a diagonal, but I've had a circle before.
Yeah.
And I've asked it, is that the wrong question? So that would be the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably.
To me, the circle is the wrong question.
Yeah, it can't. There's no answer, yes or no. It's not yes or no.
It can't.
It could be a maybe. And the maybe comes up a bit too. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
but it's pretty. And sometimes you're going through the day, because sometimes if I've got a bit of a curly day coming up, I'll ask it something in the morning first thing, and it'll give you an answer that you didn't really expect, and then you go through the day and you think, the pendulum might have let me down today. Boom, up it comes, and it proves you that it was right.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, it doesn't come up instantaneously, and it could be the next day even, or a bit longer, but you then reminded it happens, and then you go, oh wow, that pendulum did come through with that answer.
Yeah.
So it's a good little tool. I don't know if you've shown the pendulum.
No, I haven't.
Probably be a good thing to go through one day.
Yeah, we'd have to, but we can't do it on a podcast. We'd have to do it. I can do it put it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, because it's a handy little tool to have in your pouch.
Yeah. Or maybe I could just put it up on the Become Limitless community, and
they
could come over there and do it.
Yeah, man, because like everybody that I've shown that's really blown them away.
Yeah, well, the muscle testing does the same thing, but the muscle testing is a yes or no answer.
Right.
Yeah. So you can do your own muscle testing, like, and there's a ton of YouTube channels where it tells you how to do the muscle testing. But that's a yes or no answer. And you can do it with food. You can do it with anything. And so what it's actually testing is if you have the belief, like if you have the program.
And if you have the belief, then you're going to make it happen.
Well, if you don't have, yes and no.
Yeah, right.
Because if you don't do the action plan, say the apple seed must turn into the apple tree, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't plant that apple seed,
Yeah.
it can't become the apple tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we still have to do the action. So even though you've got the belief,
Yeah.
it still might not work. Like it's still, not doing the action plan for that, or it's not required. But for your Bali trip, say that you're saying that you are programming in the best, to receive the best trip, whichever way it comes. So you let the universe do all its work and don't expect any type of outcome, like except for whatever's the best for you.
Yeah.
So you're asking for the best outcome, whatever it can do to give you the best.
Yeah. So how does it know? Just know, like for me, I didn't specifically ask for good waves or anything like that or weather. I just asked for the perfect trip to come off, and I didn't even ask for the upgrade.
So but if you think about it though, so what would that entail for you though?
The best trip?
The perfect trip.
Well, the weather and the people, everybody come together like they did, and then to have waves as well, and it all pulled off.
But do you see, because remembering that everything's a program, right? Like it's the matrix. Like everything, we're living inside a program, and we are programmable, and the matrix is programmable. Everything's programmable. So that's like you're asking for the perfect trip. So then the perfect trip, if you drew it out into boxes, like what would the perfect trip be?
Yeah.
Perfect weather. All the people come together and perfect waves.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to ask.
But that's your program. It's not like...
Yeah, it knows your program, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, well, it's not... It's saying it isn't probably not... It's like if you're typing into the computer, right? A program into the computer, a game. Say you're programming in the game, in the computer. So every time you do something, you're making a new game, say. And then with that game is you've programmed that game in the perfect, have good waves, good weather, all the people are good. And so that means you've made that game.
Right.
So you've made the game inside the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then as you're going through the game, you're not expecting it. You're not expecting that, you're not looking for it as such, because what you're doing is, you don't have any other thought than that.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't
there's
have...
There's no resistance.
Yeah, there's no other thought. You're not looking for it, or you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Because it's already there.
Yeah.
It's like if you go to ride your push bike, you don't have a thought to think, oh, now what I've got to do is get over and I've got to put my leg over, and then I've got to get the pedal down, and then I've got to push. It's just you already know you ride the bike.
Yeah.
It's already in you. If you hop in the car to drive the car, you don't think, I've got to open the door up, I've got to put the button on, and I've got to press.
It's already automatic.
Everything's automatic.
Yeah.
And so the belief is already there's no thoughts of, what will this happen, or will it won't? There is nothing.
Yeah.
Your belief is so strong, and that's it. There's no other. There's nothing else. There's no other thought other than that's perfect.
Yeah. And then you let it go, and then then it starts coming back straight away, virtually as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. It just virtually unfolded for us every time.
Yeah, the apple seed must turn into the apple tree.
Yeah, once you've actioned it, then you go ahead and action it, and you're on your way.
And you don't question every time. And then every time you get something good, you say thanks to the universe. You go thanks.
Yeah.
And what that does, it creates the next path.
Yeah.
To go, that's you've got on the right path. Yep, the program's right, and goes through to the program. Yep, that program's right, and go through the next bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you keep saying thanks on the way.
And that was noticeable too in a lot of the places. The Balinese are the most relaxed, chilled out, beautiful people I've ever encountered. And a few of them said, with the way we were saying thanks, and we were really, especially in the big villa where we all stayed for my actual birthday with
Yeah.
all the family and a few other friends. And so they were obviously used to people that didn't treat them all that well.
Yeah.
And we were thanking them for everything, and we were happy with everything that they did for us. And they went, oh my God, you guys are the easiest
Yeah.
clients we've ever had through here.
And then you'll find that they will want to bend over backwards to help you.
Oh, they did. They went
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
Like even like there was heaps of grass area. It was like 5-acre property that we had.
Yeah.
It was like a mini resort all to ourselves with its own massive 25-metre pool, and we would play badminton on the grass, and it was hot, and you'd be sweating, and straight away, like as soon as you thought, oh, I could do with a cold water, the dude would come down with a tray and a jug of cold water and 8 glasses, and
Yeah.
like it was just like they were observing you, and they knew what to do and what you would want, and
Yeah.
didn't balk at helping you out, you know. So it was just perfect. It was
Yeah.
like they were reading your mind, because like you were cool to them, yeah. So it was just like a whole bunch of karma coming back every time, and yeah. And then we rewarded them with a nice big tip at the end, and
Yeah.
so wow, they'll definitely want you to come back. Well, that's a business, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, like they swapped out Instagram addresses with the girls and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you know, and since then they've all kept in touch, and so it's beautiful, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and that's going to be good for the girls, you know, when they go back and they see what it's like, with the experience that they had. But that's in them, you know. They're nice kids, our kids, and yeah, it's all an interaction that everybody's learning by and having an awesome time.
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah, because life is about experiences. And then if you give someone else a good experience as well, then it has to come back more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's karma, isn't it? That's
Well,
the
yeah,
law of karma.
it's more. It can be way more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's the thing when they say giving, you know, this law of tithing or giving or something. But if you give, say for the religious people, if a lot of them have to give 10%, and say if you have to do something, and you're not giving because it's the goodness of your heart,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's an expectation.
because you have to,
Yeah.
there's no.
Right.
It's probably more a negative thing that you're not going to get anything back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or maybe even worse.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it's not coming out of. That's what the goodness of the heart means.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because it has. You got to remember the energy field around us comes through the heart center, which is not actual heart. It's through the center of your heart, like a heart chakra type setup. Whether all the chakra things are right or wrong, I don't know. But we've got this ganglion mass in our solar plex area. It comes down from our brain and from all our spine, all our senses, comes to this one center bit. And then that goes into our energy field that goes around us. And so that the field is just a vibration. And so the vibration, when you put out a kind, loving vibration, yeah.
Well,
So-
that's like when you say you pick up on the vibe.
yeah. Well, that's it.
And that was funny you say that. Like we went to a few different areas that we were staying in, and like we were up in the mountains, we're down on the east coast, we're over on the west coast, and it was funny. We came into Uluwatu, and Donna and I both looked at each other as soon as we were driving in there, and we went, "Oh wow, this has got a really cool vibe. This is gonna you could feel it straight away.
Yeah.
That it was going to be awesome."
Yeah.
And you just pick up on the vibe of not the dude driving and people that were walking around. You could just feel it straight away. And then as soon as we get to this place, like it's perched on this cliff at Uluwatu, and these people, you get out of the car and they welcome you with a big gong, and then they bring out refreshments, and then they take you down to your upgraded villa, and you've got this break that's just in front of you, and you're going, oh my God, it's just like you've gone to paradise. And it's just, you're picking up on all the energy of these people and their vibe. It's just all a good vibe. So,
Yeah, well, the Balinese, they're very big into their energy system, because that's what they do, their little rituals in the morning. They put their little, I don't know what it is.
their
like
offerings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they have like what do they call it? Incense.
Incense.
They have like
the
incense.
smell of Bali. Like as soon as you step off the plane at the airport, you can smell the incense in the air, and it just puts you into that. Even though you're at like the airport, but you're just in the zone straight away because of the smell and the warmth. Like we left the middle of winter here and went over there, and it was perfect. Like no humidity. It was the perfect time to go actually. So
and I think that's why people like Bali, is because the people, they're putting out those offerings every day, and so that creates the vibration of Bali.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just and wow, and they are genuinely nice people.
Yeah.
You know, like sure, there's been some stuff go down over there over the years, but that's from a minority group or whatever.
Yeah, but there's always good and bad in everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. God, Australians are probably some of the worst.
We've got some good yobbos go over to Bali, yeah.
Man, sometimes you hear, well, this time we didn't, because we've been to Bali like heaps of times.
Yeah.
But sometimes you hear that Aussie accent and you tend to cringe a bit and you tend to avoid it.
Yeah.
Because I like going, and like we've always talked about, you go to places and experience the culture of the place.
Yeah.
You don't want to go and hang out with a bunch of Aussies. You know, you want to sort of get away from that, you know, and put yourself in the experience of what each country has to offer.
Yeah. But in saying that, most of the time people are there for a good experience on their holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
everybody's just on holidays to have a good time.
Yeah.
But sometimes some people's idea of a good time is a bit different to what ours would be or whatever, you know. So
Well, it's good to see that you put the full force of the Matrix into force there. The manifesting.
Yeah.
The program is it is so real. The programming. It is. And the thing is, if you don't take control, there's only two options: either take control or be controlled. So it's either knowingly manifesting or unknowingly manifesting.
Yeah, well, you're going to be doing it whether you like it or not, so why not take control of it?
To the best of your ability.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, so when you're on a holiday, right, everybody's in the good vibe of being on the holiday, and they're all manifesting for that same thing. And so that's why it can work so much better, because everyone, like where energy flows where focus goes, you know?
Yeah, I like that one.
I say?
Wow.
Yeah, and so that you got to think of the energy, like everybody's wanting the best.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's wanting the best holiday.
Yeah. And everybody's chill, so where you go, you interact with them in the street or down the beach or at the pool.
But I mean, like in your scenario for your family and their friends and that, they're all wanting the best. The best holiday, but you've actually programmed it in. So then the program in, because so that's your program, but for them to come into your program and for all of that to work, they're easily joined in because they're all vibrating at the same frequency.
Yeah. Because they're after the same experience.
Well, they're happy to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're happy to hop on your train.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a good proportionate of it, like we paid for everybody to be there.
Yeah.
And so everybody's going, oh, wow, like all they had to do was get there.
Yeah.
And the rest of it was on our dime. But so, straight away they're going to be in good spirits. But so, that set it up for freaking awesomeness. You know?
And that's the bit that, so with manifesting, people that say that it doesn't work is because if you're by yourself, it's just you. So it's just you and the universe for manifesting. But as soon as there's another person, well then both of those two people have to be on the same frequency.
Yeah.
And then if you have, like, say, a family, then you got children, they've all got to be on the same. So, like, generally for general life, you need, the perfect idea would be that you would have a plan for everybody to be manifesting the same thing. That would be perfect. But because we don't understand how the matrix works, or we've never been told, so what happens is I'm manifesting something, Kerry's manifesting something, you know, and then the three kids, they're all manifesting something. And so when they were living at home, and so we've got 5 of us all manifesting
different things,
wanting a different outcome.
Yeah.
And so then the universe there's no focus. So if you get the magnifying glass, if you get a bit of paper, right, and then put it in the sun, and you just put it in the sun, what's going to happen? The paper will get a bit warm.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
But then if you get a magnifying glass and focus the energy onto that
one point
to a fine point on that bit of paper, it'll catch on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I like that one, like you said before, energy. How's it go?
Energy flows where focus goes.
Yeah.
And so the magnifying glass is focusing on that one little point. So all the energy from the sun is going through that bit of glass, through and onto the paper.
Yeah.
And then it's going through to that one point.
Yeah.
And then has to burn the paper, like it has to.
Yeah.
Like the apple tree.
Concentrated on
Yeah,
that
the
one.
apple seed must turn into the apple tree.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what happened. You nailed it, because what happened on that trip was, because everybody was there for my birthday, and everybody was there thinking, oh, we're going to have a good time for Craig's birthday. We're going to pull this off. And that's why it just pumped up, because everybody was there for the same reason. Like, I'm not blowing my own horn or anything, but that's
come on.
Let me have a couple of toots. But that's what everybody was there for. Everybody was there just to celebrate a birthday, and everybody goes, we're going to go make this a good one for him.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a significant special birthday or whatever. And that's why it just, boom, just pumped out like it did. And so that's just focus. There wasn't any other thought other than that, was just to pull off a good time, you know, for that one particular celebration. And it was just like that magnifying glass, isn't it? Everybody, and so it just had to happen. You got a bit of a glitch there.
Yeah, bit of glitch in the matrix.
Something's going down.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go, eh?
Yeah, so that's where the problem lies with when you're trying to manifest something into your life. And this is why you can't tell anybody your goals or what you want to manifest unless they're going to be fully on board. But if they are fully on board, well, then it is good, because it makes it heaps better. Yeah. So you have the egg of life, right, is 5, one circle in the middle with 6 circles on the outside. That's the egg of life. That's within the flower of life. And so what that means is that you have up to 6 people. And then if you can get 6 people with you, 7, to all being in focused energy in that one direction, oh man, there's nothing that can't stop you.
Yeah, right.
Nothing. Yeah. But if you have one person in that 7, including yourself, that's can wreck the whole thing.
Yeah.
So remember when we did that trip to the Maldives, and we're having that awesome time on the boat.
Oh yeah.
So there was I don't know how many people on that boat. Probably 15 of us or something.
At least, yeah. There was all those guys from the sunny coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. There would have been 15.
Yeah. And then we got that one guy come on, that was Louis' mate, come on.
Yeah, the bosses, the owner's mate came on.
So we were having the best time ever.
Yeah.
And everyone was getting on, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah. And then that one guy hopped on, and he was next level nut job.
Yeah.
And that ruined for those next 2 days.
Yeah.
Didn't ruin it, but it
changed the vibe.
It put a whole new dynamic within the system, and it was just the whole thing got brought down.
Yeah.
Like all the circles fell to pieces. It was just you were dreading it. You couldn't wait till that guy got off.
Yeah, and thank God he did, eh?
It was going to end up in fisticuffs, but
wow.
He was an absolute dickhead, that bloke.
Yeah.
And
it brought the worst out in the owner, that Louis guy. So it was really 2 nut jobs one really influenced another nut job, and then that just destroyed the whole
dynamic.
the whole scene.
Yeah.
And then we were thanking God that he got off the next day, and then it all went back to normal.
All went back. But this is what I'm saying is the perfect analogy of how the circles work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it only
absolutely.
takes one. It's like the saying, one bad apple. Is it
Yeah.
one bad apple?
Yeah,
No,
I was gonna
spoils
ask.
the bunch or something.
Yeah,
Spoils
I was going to ask you what that was, but because I couldn't remember it, it was off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
It can't be
yeah.
bunch because apple's not a bunch, is it? One. Yeah, anyway, it's one bad apple.
It just takes one rotten apple can spoil whatever a bunch of apples is.
Yeah, a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. So,
Yeah.
and that was in real life. What happened in real life.
Oh.
It showed us how energy works.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that happens when you're trying to manifest things. And they might not. This is not saying that they're not being an idiot or something. This is just saying that they're manifesting something different
Yeah.
to the rest.
Yeah.
And it does the exact same thing as the rotten apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stops the whole energy flow. So
Yeah.
then, if you've got your magnifying glass, it'd be like taking it away.
Yeah.
So
And
if it's-
just putting it in the sun.
Yeah. And then it's just everything's left up to how the chips flow.
Yeah. Well, and for the same trip, I remember when we flew into Brisbane to pick up a bunch of people for the flight, and then that guy, I remember we were in Brisbane Airport in the transit zone, and that dude walked down and he was this positive ray of sunshine. It ended up being Pete.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, wouldn't it be a classic if that dude was on our boat? Next thing, we get to the Maldives in Mali there, and that dude came out, and we
Yeah.
go, oh wow, we probably manifested that straight away.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just went, oh wow, and that he was just one of the legends on that boat, wasn't he?
Yeah, so that was another great holiday. But this is what I'm saying with energy is very real.
Oh,
Like it's very real.
Yeah.
And like the matrix is very real. Like the whole program's real.
yeah,
Yeah. This is the thing that we need to understand is that it doesn't matter if you believe it or you don't believe it. Like it doesn't matter.
because it's going to go down anyway.
Because it's happening either way.
And that's where people came up with words like coincidence and stuff like that. But we've learnt over the years there ain't really a coincidence.
There's no such thing, yeah. So every time that you say that, you've manifested that into your life somehow. Yeah, it's a weird thing. And there's also a time factor that comes into it as well. So things that may be happening that are no good in your life, you could have manifested could have been years ago.
Right.
Say, for instance, like if we go back to the Climbing Ayers Rock, right? That seed started back in 1978. But I didn't climb the rock till, 2019 or 18 or 19 or something. 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019. So I didn't climb the Ayers Rock till 2019.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so it doesn't...
Yeah. I
Like-
know what you're saying.
Yes.
'Cause I had a similar experience. I remember when I was a kid, I would have been early teenager, and I watched this movie with my dad. It was on Bill Collins' movie night on a Sunday night, going back in the day, and it was called Big Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it was about these mates that just surfed this break. Ended up being Malibu in California, and I was probably 14 or 15, and I watched this movie with my dad, and I went, wow, I'm going to surf that spot. And it wasn't until I was probably 24 that I got to Malibu and surfed that break.
Yeah.
But it was always going to happen, like I had to do my apprenticeship and all that. Things had to happen before it did, but it was always going to happen.
Yeah.
And I remember ringing my dad up and going, oh wow, this is the day. I'm walking down that beach, same scene in the movie,
Yeah.
same set of stairs, walked down the stairs, had a look at it, and it was pumping.
Yeah.
And just went, wasn't the best surf of my life, but wow, it was what I said I would do.
Yeah.
And so that took years, to come to fruition.
Yeah.
But it had to happen at a certain time. Number one, that I could travel with confidence by myself to go to a place like that. And And the things that happened probably now that I think about it, I did a trip to the South Pacific and that's where I met the dude that I was living with in California. He was a dive instructor in Fiji, and I was sailing around there with my Canadian mate who I just went to Bali with. And so all that had to happen for it to fall into place.
Yeah.
But it still took 10 years to go down.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a time.
There is well, and have we talked about that before? Like when you're ready, sort of thing. When you're ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ready.
Yeah, I think you said that before.
Yeah, we have, but I don't know if it's ready or it's. I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about the ready thing.
Yeah. Because like in relation to that, like surfing at Malibu, and as a kid, I was a bit of a loner, but I could have manifested that my parents took me there on a trip when I was a kid, but it wouldn't have been the same experience. It was like I had to be the same age as the dudes that were in the movie, just surfing it as an adult sort of thing. I don't know.
See, I don't know if that's quite right, because if we go back to the energy flows where focus goes, right? So at no time did you ever attempt to go there?
Before I did?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
So we just got the sheet of paper in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that.
So I didn't action it.
So you did, at no time in that 10 years did you action that?
Nah.
You didn't try to get there, or you didn't work your way, or you didn't.
Yeah.
And it was just, so I think it's programmed into the program, like into the game. Like everything's programmed in. Like every thought, if you hold a thought for more than 17 seconds, they say, then that can be the end of the program. But if you hold for more than a minute, then it's definitely in the program.
It's a done deal.
Yeah, it's in the program.
Right.
And so then that thought can become a new manifestation at some stage in your life.
Right.
Or it could not happen.
Yeah.
It could or could not. You know,
Yeah.
just because you program something in doesn't mean it has to happen.
Right.
But it could happen.
Yeah.
Because it's programmed in, it's the game.
Yeah.
So, if you buy a game from the game shop, say, and then it's a multi-level game, it's 10 levels or something.
Yeah.
So you've got to go through the game. You've got to go through all the levels.
Yeah.
So you have to, but the whole game's programmed into the game.
Yeah.
For all the levels to go through.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing with manifesting something. So when you manifest something, you manifest the whole game.
Yeah.
So the whole game's there, but you've got to go through all the levels.
Right. So that's the time factor.
Yeah, that's the time factor. But the time is not in our linear time. It depends what focus that you put onto it.
Yeah.
And then all the obstacles depends on what other people have put into it.
Yeah. Whether it speeds it up.
Whether it speeds it up, slows it down, or takes it away, or does or not. Because just because you've got the game and you've got the 10 levels doesn't mean you're going to finish the game.
Yeah, yeah. Or get to level 2 or 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you haven't learnt the tools and techniques to do the game.
Yeah,
yeah. You haven't learnt all the bits and pieces and
yeah.
things. But then what happens is with a game, as you generally do the first leg and you don't make it, but as you do it again, then you know all the bits and coming up. So if that happens, you go, oh right, I know that situation's happened before. I go this way. And when that happens, I go this way. And if that happens, I go this way. And so then if you haven't experienced anything, so you don't know that's going to stop you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then you get this new experience that comes in that stopped it, and you go, rightio. So that I did for whatever reason. So now I need to re-navigate. Re-navigate around there to reprogram into the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have the experience to know where to move. But in saying that, so I go back to when I come up with my emblem, right? That because I had already been doing the manifesting for like two years or so. I've been studying it hard for 2 years or so. So I knew that the Flower of Life was a part of it. And I knew that the Merkaba, which is the Star of David, is a part of it, because that's the energy that comes up from the ground and the energy that comes down, and that creates the flow. And then I knew that the photon, which is thought, which is light, was a part of it.
Yeah.
Like I knew all these bits and pieces, but I couldn't work out why some things worked and some things didn't.
Right.
Like I didn't know how it all worked. I'm thinking, like it does. Why does it? Sometimes it was hit and miss.
Yeah.
You know. And so it wasn't until I was in Bali again,
Yeah.
when I was in the traffic.
Yeah. And
Yeah, and then I had a thought that that I hadn't been booked,
Yeah.
right? And so that thought has gone in and created the game for me to get booked.
Yeah. Right.
And so for me to get booked, I had to have at that time, I had to have no resistance to any part of it.
Yeah.
So I was just free flowing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any intentions at all where I was going.
Yeah.
All I had when I drove outside the resort on my bike, the only thought I had was to go on an adventure.
Yeah.
That's
just
it.
to explore. Or
Explore.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's it. I had nothing else. That was the one thing.
Yeah.
And so once I put the thought into the program to get booked, so I've created it. I've created the game to get booked.
Yeah.
And then within 2 hours,
You got booked.
I was getting booked.
Yeah.
But what that did was put all the bits and pieces together for me.
Right.
That like I put all the parts come together and went, oh wow, that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I was the most excited person ever to get booked, you know. I couldn't
And pay your little bribe off to the coppers.
Yeah, pay me bribe off to him. But so I was that excited that I got booked because, you know, because what happens is you have the thought, right? So the thought is first, and then that goes out along the Merkaba or the triangles out to the flower of life inside the program, and then that creates the game.
Yeah.
So the game's created then.
Yeah.
But then all the circles have to be filled up. Like the game has to be started.
Right.
Like you got to start the game.
Yeah.
So
So
then
you actioned it by riding off.
yeah, riding off. So I
Yeah.
kept riding,
Yeah.
and then I'd get things that, you know, I'd say, oh, this looks all right. I'll stop here and I'll stop there and I'll pull over here. Oh, better time to go.
Yeah.
So I was just free flowing
And you just
and I was
by
being
yourself.
guided by my thought to get booked,
Yeah.
which I didn't know at the time,
Yeah.
for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's how fast it can happen. So one, I was by myself.
Yeah. You got no resistance.
So I had no other person inside the circles.
Yeah.
I had zero.
Yeah.
And then I had no program, no other thought of where I was supposed to be going.
Yeah.
So it was the universe guided me to get the quickest possible outcome for my thought. Because it doesn't care. The universe doesn't care if you plant what plant you plant.
Yeah. If it's good for you or bad for you.
It doesn't care. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not even the care is not the right word. It just gives back what you put in.
are, yeah.
So whatever you plant in the ground just has to grow.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So
and
that,
then the least resistance that you offer to it, because that's what they say, isn't it? You put it out there, and then you action it, and then you just forget about it, and it will come back.
yeah. So when you plant the seed, you don't go and dig it all up and say, oh, has the seed
How's
started?
it going? Yeah.
Yeah, has it started propagating?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't. You just put it in, forget about it.
Yeah.
Until you see the little thing come out of the ground, you go,
Yeah.
oh, right, now it's going.
Yeah.
So then you've got to protect it. You know, you've got to
Yeah.
put something around it so the birds don't get it.
Yeah. So no other outside influences coming along to eat it or whatever,
Yeah.
and off she grows into
Into the apple tree.
the big triffid.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is why people think it doesn't work, is because you bring other people on.
Yeah, like you said, don't tell anybody, because as soon as you bring other people on, then that either slows it down or snuffs it out completely, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
100%. And then if you're trying to do it with a partner, and so you've got to somehow lead by example and just head in that direction, and then they will flow with you. And then it'll come to fruition at some stage. But the journey will be longer.
Because you've got somebody else on board.
because somebody else has to come with it.
Yeah. But that's what we were talking about earlier today, like power couples or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're so strong because they are on the same page and they're just working. It's two people working towards a common goal.
1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 in the universal law.
Yeah.
1 + 2 could equal 10.
Yeah. It's that strong.
1 + 1, sorry, could equal 10. It
Yeah.
is depending on what focus. So we've always got to come back to the paper and the magnifying glass. Depending on what focus you put on, as to how quick the paper's going to burn.
Yeah, yeah.
So the stronger the focus. So they've got 2 magnifying glasses
Yeah.
going full into that same spot,
Yeah.
like full focus, full force.
Yeah.
It's going to just go,
Yeah.
and it's going to burn quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also you got to remember too that ladies have way more power than men inside the matrix. They've got because they're always the center circle and we're on the outside because we're the provider and protector, but they're the builder because they're the ones that have the children and they build the system and we protect it.
Yeah.
We provide and protect to make sure the system can build.
Yeah.
But they're the actual builders.
Yeah. So
And
you got to get a good woman on board.
Well, if they're not, if
They're not with it.
if they're not going in the same direction
Yeah.
and with the full force,
Yeah.
then you'll find that it's very tough, very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder, a lot longer. It doesn't say that it can't happen, but it's a lot longer. So like the 10 years, say if you said, right, I'm going on this trip, and then if you started saving up all your pocket money and you said to your dad, look, Dad, I want to go to surf this trip, and then he's seen you cut your thing out and you kept looking at it, and then he's seen you saving and doing all the thing, you're putting focus into it.
Yeah.
Like at some stage he would have gone, oh, you know what, we could probably afford to go on this trip and do that, and you could have gone a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because you just said one day,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
one day, like me, say 1978.
And one day I'm going to surf that break.
Yeah. And so one day, for me, when I was going to climb Mount Ayers Rock, right? So one day, I said, when Grandad was telling me about his trip and I was visualising it myself, I think, oh wow, I'm going to do that one day.
Yeah.
One day.
One day.
One day.
Yeah. It's not very specific, is it?
It's nothing.
Yeah.
So we've got the sheet of paper in the sun
Yeah.
with no
focus.
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't until they said they were going to close it down
Yeah.
and you weren't allowed to walk on it anymore.
So it gave you an end date.
So then I had to get the magnifying glass and put serious focus onto it to say I had to climb that before this date.
Yeah.
I didn't have any other belief,
Yeah.
zero other belief in my mind that I was going to close that I was going to walk up that rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what happened when we got there, remember, is it was closed. So we couldn't walk because it was too windy. And I went, oh, no way. And then so my dream, it was just like, and so then we walked, I said, oh, maybe by the time it was 10 Ks around. So by the time we walk around, it was still closed. And then I hopped on the bus, and as we're driving off, Kerry looks out the window and goes, oh, look, they're climbing up. Stop that bus, stop the bus. And so, I hopped off, and then Gary said, oh, how are you getting back to the mate? I didn't care. It was like 10 Ks away. Yeah. I didn't care if I had to walk or what. I had no thought.
I'll deal with that later.
I knew that I was going to get back.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even, I had full belief I was getting back there.
Yeah.
And so what happens is I climb up the thing, up the rock. I have a magical experience. I go up, meet a dude up there, talk to him. He's staying next door.
Yeah.
I climb back down there.
And he'd driven out there.
Yeah. So he drove out there. And then he goes, oh, hey, we talked about it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a lift back.
Yeah. Perfect.
So then I hop in the car and the manifestation, the apple seed has to turn into the apple tree. It can't not.
Yeah.
It can't not.
Once you plant it, off she goes.
Yeah. And if you focus the magnifying glass onto the paper in the sun, the bright sun, it has to burn the paper with full focus. It has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you haven't got two people, if you've got two people, but then if they're not on board, it goes opposite way. And when we had when your 50th when we did that trip to go to Byron Bay. Remember that on the Winnebago?
In the Winnebago, yeah.
So what we said, remember what we said?
Yeah.
We were going to have the best trip, and we didn't book one single thing.
Yeah.
We just said all we had a time
To get back.
to get back. All we had 9 days, I think.
Yeah.
So we had 9 days to get to wherever we were going and come back. That was it.
Yeah.
And that trip was just
We just
magical.
pulled off the perfect trip.
It was magical.
Yeah.
And because it was like being on the motorbike.
Yeah.
So we had you and me focused with the magnifying glass. So we had 2 magnifying glasses, full focused energy, burning the paper.
Yeah.
And then we had no resistance with the universe to say we had to be here by a certain time. We had to be there.
Yeah.
So we just said within the game for all the parts to line up that we were just going to go through the game with no pitfalls.
Yeah.
So it was just going to give us whatever because we didn't put any blockades within the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't create anything.
Yeah. We just went with the flow.
Yeah.
We just let it happen.
We just said we want the best. That's it.
Yeah.
Even if there was another gear on the freeway.
You found a bonus gear.
So we're driving along the we're driving along the freeway with the in the Winnebago, and I think, gee, this thing's driving a bit high. And I said, Craig, what gear in? He goes, 4. I said, it's got 5 gears. Oh. No, 5th. It had 6 gears. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, because you thought it was because most cars are 5-speed.
Yeah.
And this was a 6-speed.
Yeah.
I said, it's got a 6-speed. Can we put it in a 6 and it's just like
Cruising.
We're sitting on 110, no worries. Just anyway, that's
it drove like a sports car after that.
That was another story. Yeah, but you see how it works?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're trying to manifest something, you can't tell anyone unless, with 100% certainty, like you have to be 100% certain. It's like you and me going on the Winnebago. There's not any other thought than you and I having the best trip.
Yeah.
Like there's no, and we didn't care where we were going. Like you didn't have any thought about where we were going to stay, and I didn't have any thought of, we didn't care, both of us. We just went, wherever we're guided to, we'll just stop wherever we're guided.
Yeah. And it was the same when we went to Hawaii. We pulled it off over there without even really knowing about it, didn't we?
That was only how we first started. So yeah, we didn't know that how it all worked, but that we did unknowing. See, you're manifesting every day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're unknowingly manifesting.
Yeah, we just woke up because this was before you were just getting into the manifesting in those days, because I remember on that trip you told me about the car spaces and stuff like that, and I went home and tried it, but we were just getting up each day expecting, we paddle out here and get waves all day, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
So we, like you say, we were manifesting without really, you probably had some sort of inkling about what you were doing, but I didn't. I just went, wow, we're going to get waves here for sure. I've got waves here.
I didn't really understand it to a T, but no, I didn't really understand it much because I was only learning. Well, I'm still only learning.
Yeah, we're always learning, aren't we? Every day you're learning something new.
But you have to remember time. There's a time thing on it. So if you've unknowingly manifested things into your reality now that are not great, you could have done that years ago. Yeah. And it's coming to fruition now.
Yeah.
For some reason that's triggered that to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to be careful what you say, how you use your words, and
your belief system, because it is what you say, but normally what you say is for your belief system. So but I'm thinking that we're going to do these podcasts. We might do a few in a row. I know we did the manifesting one before, but just to talk about the matrix and things, and talk about things that real life, things that we've manifested in, so that people can see
as an example.
Yeah, and that way that we can, for you people that are listening, to look at your life and see the things that you've manifested, to know that this is very real. And because once the light bulb goes on, there's no turning it off.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, if you would, thanks Craig for coming back today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to our next one. If you'd like to find out more, just head over to troycoleman.com and join our community and just start manifesting and start to live life.
Getting the best out of everything.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.
See ya.